Well, this is Pat Walker, Mission Winners, doing a training coaching video here for everybody on the ETFs. Our systems and tactics at Mission Winners really help guide us. They make us money. They also keep us safe. One of the things I'd like to do, and I do this with the VIPs, is scan the ETFs. Maybe looking for potential buys of an ETF, but more importantly, looking for themes. What's strong? Areas to look into. What's weak? Areas to avoid. So let's take it from the top. You can always see the name of it up here too, which one it is. This is artificial intelligence, AI, and it's just basing here, fell on a slight pickup in volume today. Still trending okay though. I'm not saying buy it, but so far this industry group is okay. Let's continue onwards. We're going to go real quick here. Cloud computing. In 1 second, literally, it says, be careful with the cloud computing stocks. It's that simple. You don't have to overthink it. Just move on. Stay away from the cloud computing. Commodities, they're a little choppy here. They're below the falling 200-day. They're below the 50-day. Not a lot of power there. We need to start lifting up. What does that tell us? Be careful with a lot of commodities. Dow Jones, this is the Dow Jones ETF, leveraged one. It's a little sloppy here. Maybe forming a cup with a handle. Fell on a slight pickup in volume. Let's continue onwards. This is the diamonds. This is more relevant as far as volume is concerned. Maybe forming a cup with handle, and I'll draw it for you. There you go. We'll see if it can lift off. Just got to watch it and see what happens. Continue onwards. Electric vehicles. In 1 second, it says, better be careful with electric vehicles. There we go. Dow Jones Internet tells us to be careful with Dow Jones Internet stocks. Internet stocks. By the way, look at the selling volume today. That's serious money selling. Serious money. Be aware of that. IBD 50, not much power there, folks. Be careful with it. I need to pause here. I am not negative. I'm just looking at what is. It helps frame up our thoughts and our actions going forward. We're always prepared. This one focuses on the maxlist stocks. I can read. How about that? There it is. What's that say? You better be careful with maxlist stocks. Chinese stocks. Be careful with Chinese stocks. Gold miners are basing. All right? Basing here on the 20. There's one of the few that still look decent, don't they? We're involved with it. There you go. We'll watch it and see what happens. Continue onwards. Excuse me. There's gold, just like gold miners. It's hanging in there. Not bad to see. I'm going to make a note on that. Hold on a second. Biotechnology needs to push through that line, folks, until it fell on a heavier volume today. Till it starts to push above that line, be careful with biotechnology. Move on. Oil, there's no power in oil. Leave it alone. Software technology fell on increasing volume today. It's at the 50-day. That was some serious selling. Technology related. Be careful. Medicine's hanging in. Support on the rising ADMA. Fell fairly hard today. Volume was just a little bit above average. But among other ETFs, this one doesn't look too bad. No clean entry on it. Mid-cap losing it. Be careful with that. Aerospace and defense losing the 50-day on a pickup in volume. Be careful with that. Home constructions is still hanging in there. There we go. Something maybe to look into. S&P 500 growth. This fell. Didn't fall on heavy volume, though. And that's a plus. Something to consider. Small caps. Look at this. Lagging. What does that tell you? It says be careful with small caps. It's below the falling 50-day. It's below the 200-day. Be careful with small caps. They're underperforming the market. Real estate falling below. It's below the moving averages. There's nothing good going on there. Transport got spanked today. Look at that. That's why we do this, team. Literally, in 1 second, it says, I better be careful with transport stocks if I own any, but I better not be considering buying any. Airlines lagging, no power there. Regional banks, no power there. I mean, that's bad, folks. That's bad. Be careful with that. Mid-cap fell again on a slight pickup in volume. Below the falling 50-day, be careful with that. Oil services below the falling 50-day, fell on increasing volume. A little bit below the 200-day, not a lot of power there. Be careful with that. Pharmaceuticals are hanging in there. Given how crummy the market's been in a lot of areas, maybe people need the drugs. Just kidding. It's okay, but it's awfully choppy here. You got a tail bar here, then it fell, then you get another reversal bar here. Not something really clean and simple, so just kind of err to the side of caution. Software got spanked today. What does this say? In 1 second, it says, I better be careful with software stocks. That's good to know. QLD, the NASDAQ 100, fell on a pickup in volume today. You got to be careful with that, all right? QQQ, same situation. Retailing, underperforming, not much going on there. Silver's hanging in. Silver's hanging in okay. You could say, and this is a great lesson. Just because it's a green bar doesn't necessarily mean it's a good bar, And just because it's a red bar doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad bar. Look at how this closed. You say, oh, that's a bad bar. Look at how it closed. It closed in the top, closed right near the highs of the day. I'm not saying buy it, but this is a good lesson as far as watching. Okay, there we go. Let's continue on. Steel falling, leave it alone. Semiconductors falling on a big pickup in volume. Stay away from the semiconductors. See why we do this? Spiders fell on heavy volume today. All right, there we go. This needs to show some lift. Okay, I need to pause here and share something, and it's important. We are in earnings season. Big companies, Google, Microsoft, big companies reporting. Please know those dates. It's very important. SSO, we didn't get involved with it, and I'm glad we didn't. Look at it. That's a stinger right there, folks. That on heavy, that's serious selling right there. Serious selling. Be careful with the S&P 500. Solar's underperforming, nothing to do with it. Small caps lagging, nothing to do with it. Uranium, there's no power, leave it alone. Oil is just languishing. Really, there's nothing good going on there. Consumer discretionary, it needs to live through these tops. I'm going to show you something that we do here, and it's nothing fancy. This is what I like. There you go. Clean and simple tops. Needs to push up here and do it on volume. So far, there's nothing great there. Leave it alone. Move on. Aerospace and defense, nothing good. Biotechnology, maybe, but it's below the 200-day. Not a lot of power. Be careful. Home building could be forming a cup with a handle. There you go. Potential. Something, it looks better than a lot of the other ones, doesn't it? There you go. Not great, but it looks better. Continue onwards. Materials. Look at this. It fell below the 21-day. It fell below the 50-day on a pickup in volume. They're selling it. What does it say? Be careful with material stocks. Avoid them. Communications, not a lot of power there. Energy, just kind of basing but choppy. Financials lagging below all the moving averages and fell on a pickup in volume. What does that tell you? Stay away from the financials. There you go. Industrials fell on a pickup in volume. Be careful with industrial stocks. Technology fell on a pickup in volume. Approaching the 50-day. This needs to start showing some power. All right? Just for what it's worth. So far, not a lot of power there, is there? You're not going to see this in any chart book anywhere saying this is what you look for. I'll just put it that way. Continue onward. Consumer staples. Now, this one doesn't look too bad. Now, think about this. Consumer staples, not discretionary items, staples, things we need, okay? Things we need to buy at the supermarket. And it's hanging in pretty good. It's defensive, right? It's milk, it's food, it's bread. It's defensive. Defensive. Smart money's been involved in defensive. Tailed off a little bit here with the market. Market's choppy, just be careful. Healthcare's kind of basing, but not a lot of power. We're about done here. Consumer discretionary. Now, this one isn't moving up. It actually fell today. Discretionary spending. Metals and mining, you better be careful. Oil, leave it alone. Retailing. Look at this. I was talking about the consumer. Look what this is doing. The consumer's not buying right now. There we go. Software, that's going to leave a mark. And it has been underperforming. It's been telling you, I mean, look at yesterday. If you saw this yesterday, you'd say, no, that doesn't look so good. It's fallen on a pickup in volume. I better be careful with software stocks. Oh, gee whiz, look what happens today. There you go. We have a limited amount of money. We have a limited amount of time. We use both assets wisely.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.